And by the end, the people were fed up with judges, especially after Samson. He wasn't a smart guy, but in the end, might makes right. He pushes the pillars apart in the complex of the Philistines, and he dies, but a few thousand of the Philistines die, and everybody says, well, all's well that ends well. And at the end of the book of Judges, and it says, in those days, there was no king in Israel. Each man did what was right in his own eyes. And the key word is there was no king in Israel. And as you get to Chronicles, next you find out, or Samuel, I think. We get King David. Well, first we get King Saul, who was kind of a lunatic, and then King David, possibly one of the 3 or 4 most important people in the Old and New Testament. I'd put him below Jesus, but above Daniel and some of the prophets. But and then King Solomon. And in the end, King Solomon fizzled, and Israel split in 2, 10 tribes to the north, 2 to the south, Israel in the north, Judea in the south. Let's get back to Judges. Because Israel had a complete meltdown. They didn't have, the judges they had toward the end were not good judges. Eptath was an idiot. And so was Samson. And they weren't happy with the system. And the Ammonites were constantly invading them, so were the Philistines. And they wanted something else. And there came a time when we talked about the prophet Micah. He was telling them this. He was saying that if you don't repent and go to the Lord, he will smite you and smote you and smeet you and roll you up in a ball. And so what happened is the tribe of Dan came after Micah, and the town he was in was Lachish and just destroyed everything. So they were at a low. They were at a very low. At the end of Judges, things weren't going well, and the people begged Samuel to give them a king.